We Are Neon Rabbitt presents a We Are Neon Rabbitt production. And now the tale of the warrior rabbits JB and Jeremy. Nah, it's just a fucking podcast. Welcome to the rabbit hole.
Guys, girls, and wayward souls, welcome to the rabbit hole.
Hadouken!
How's it going, Jeremy?
It's going awesome. How you doing, JB?
Hanging in there, man.
Right on, right on. So I just shot a fireball at you. What you gonna do about it?
Blow some fire.
Oh shit! He's pulling some Dalsim on me, or some white person Dalsim on me, because that's not what Dalsim says. It doesn't say blow some fire.
Sure he does. Blow some fire.
Yoga fire. Because he's
But he blows fire.
He does blow fire, and it does do a lot of damage in that game.
So yes, speaking of video games, if you guys didn't know, we're trying to do a little game and stuff. You guys should check out the videos. We did play some Street Fighter the other day.
That was a little fun video, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Street Fighter is an iconic game.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely remember it from my childhood, getting the crap kicked out of me for sure. But it was one of the first fighting games I think that I ever played, and there's a market that exploded, right? But
yeah,
Street Fighter is a pretty rich story and interesting stuff, like Ken and Ryu.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. In the story, like they're well, in the game they're just sprite copies, right? They're the same.
Oh yeah.
Same character with like a color palette switch.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Ken's got the blonde hair.
Yeah, and he's
Ryan's
red.
got- yeah. Well, they're basically the same character. They do the dragon punch, the dragon kick,
and like the fireball
hurricane
throw
kick.
thing.
Dragon kick.
Yeah. So in the story, they're trained by the same master. So that's kind of an interesting way that they like tied it in to the idea that it is just a sprite change. But
Yeah. I love Street Fighter. Street Fighter to me was, once again, I got my ass kicked a lot. And I had a friend when the fighting game explosion happened. He insisted on playing Super Street Fighter 2 a lot. And we played it hours and hours and hours. And I tried every character available. And to this day, I really can't find somebody that I'm comfortable with. You know, somebody that I can really just like, I'm going to pick this guy, I'm going to kick your ass. Like in our video, I'm racking my brain trying to remember any button combinations for any character.
the 1,000 hands, man. That's the only move you need with Honda.
Dude, yeah, basically that or the Chun-Li's kick.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty much
almost
the same thing.
indefensible move. It's crazy. Street Fighter was an entryway to a much larger world of fighting games, for me anyway. And not just, the main staples, Mortal Kombat, but like these really weird ones. Like I remember a game on my Genesis that I rented called Time Killers. And this thing was like a Mortal Kombat like ripoff, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Angry Video Game Nerd did a video on this. I'm pretty sure he did. But yeah, it's like ultra violent, and like the main goal is just like to hack off your opponent's arms and legs and stuff. It was a really bad ripoff, and I couldn't get past like the first 2 levels. So
Yeah, there's a lot of bad rip-offs or adaptations of fighting games, but there's a lot of good ones too. Like you meant Mortal Kombat, which came after Street Fighter, right?
yeah, shortly after, I believe.
Yeah, so which that just what are they on, like 11 or 12 now? Or they started back over at 1?
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, so that's been going on for a long time. I remember like Killer Instinct.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Killer Instinct was a great. That was more advanced graphically for the Super Nintendo. Yeah.
Another good game with good characters. Soul Calibur was something in the same genre that came out. Street Fighters, though, they did something. That's a Capcom game.
Yes.
And eventually, even that strung off to like some like Marvel versus Street Fighter.
Oh yeah.
And things like that. But I've not played a lot of the later Street Fighter games. So like, sure, Street Fighter Super Nintendo Turbo, right?
Sure.
So I'm not sure about all the characters, but so it seems like they've taken characters from other Capcom games, one being Streets of Rage, and introduced it to the Street Fighter universe, and I think that is a pretty fun thing because, like, if you remember the old like Streets of Rage side scroller beat 'em up games, right?
Yeah.
When you in a lot of these games, I remember like Spider-Man and Carnage, the Super Nintendo beat 'em up.
Oh
game
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Like every time you started fighting one of the bad guys, their life bar would pop up in the top of the screen, and it would give them a name.
Okay.
And Streets of Rage did that, and like so you'd fight the same character basically, like over and over again
with the same
name.
Or different name but the same person.
Well, they'd sometimes change a sprite, but
Yeah.
like that name would be the same for like the sprite.
Oh, well, yeah.
So you'd fight that same sprite over and over again with the same name. There'd be other sprites with different names too, but those were the characters though. They took those from Streets of Rage and they made them in the Street Fighter characters. I just heard that the other day, and like I thought that was an interesting thing. Some of the people that you beat up, they just continued this with those characters. I love that. I love that about like science fiction and storytelling, like when the story's bigger than just like here's a character, there's a story, and it's over. Yeah. Like this is where like my love for Star Wars comes, and comic books, and just all the geeky things. Because, because there's no real beginning and end. Like there's
it just keeps expanding.
Yeah, everything's like its own universe, and within that, like anything can happen, and yeah, the stories are just so much bigger and deeper, and it's fun to come to find out that your silly little fighting video games, where it's one character versus another character, and it seems simple and silly, that there's a story behind it. Oh, and yeah, that there's like a united Capcom universe. It's just kind of a funny thing.
Absolutely, yeah, and I mean, Street Fighter, it was a little more fantastical. Based, well, not saying fantastical. It was like more exaggerated, more colorful, more bombastic style of a fighting game.
Yeah.
When Mortal Kombat came onto the scene and the story, that whole mythos unfolded, Mortal Kombat to me was taken a lot more seriously as far as like the characters and the story.
Yeah.
And they kind of simplified it in a way, but at the same time they created just again. Another entire universe, an entire. I mean, how many games you say they were up to now?
At least 12.
At least 12, yeah. And how many movies we got now? Like 4 coming out? Well, we have Mortal Kombat.
At least 3.
Annihilation, yeah. Mortal Kombat, the new one, 2019, 20 whatever. And now the new one that's coming out. So yeah, before Mortal Kombat movies.
Will be 4. Okay. What did you think about what would technically it was? It's a reboot, so it's not the third one, but it was the third one made. The newest. That new Mortal Kombat.
I thought it was an interesting setup. There was a lot of it that I didn't really care for, but on the whole, I thought it was a good setup to what could be a great series of films.
Yeah.
But the way they kind of went about it, it just seemed like there was a lot of things that were rushed and a lot of things that could have been explained a little bit better.
Sure.
And the Cole character, I thought it was interesting to add a whole new character that was a descendant of Scorpion and all that stuff. I thought that was a nice touch, but I didn't really like the way his character was handled.
Yeah.
And yeah. I'm curious, as a cat is, to be seeing Mortal Kombat 2, and hopefully it's a lot more, more about the tournament. That's what I wanted, more fighting.
Yeah, I can see that. I was pretty happy with this newest one, especially compared to the original ones, which were fun too, man. I was a kid when the first Mortal Kombat movie came out.
That was such a blast.
It was, and it was
such a blast.
Again, it was like when we had more of a shared culture, so like we were all excited for the Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, dude.
And let's say in the end, I mean, it's a bit of a letdown. I'll watch it again. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Let's still watch it.
They could have all been better. Those first two.
Well, Annihilation sucked.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Annihilation sucked.
So I was happy with the newest product, and it makes me more excited for. It's kind of like the Kong vs. Godzilla movie. That I mean, they did the characters decently well, and they put them in front of you, and that was a recipe for success. The issues that you're talking about, I think those are just like the issues of new writing. These are it's the same thing that's happening in everywhere. It's just kind of piss poor storytelling. But
yeah, it's true. It just seems like nobody's either, I don't know, putting the effort into storytelling anymore, or maybe it's the filmmaking. I don't know, but a lot of people aren't happy with what's going on for new movies lately.
Yeah.
Especially in this particular kind of field, this genre.
If you ask me too, it's a terrible thing. It needs to be addressed and it needs to be fixed because just in my opinion, as a country, one of the main things that America can create and export is entertainment.
Oh, sure can.
We've been doing it for years, and we're starting to lose that battle. So let's get back on that and export good entertainment that people want to pay for, and that's a way to get back on top of the world. Yeah.
I was at Walmart yesterday and I saw the already they already got the new Godzilla Kong movie toys out.
Cool.
So I had to watch that trailer, and now we got a new primate king who's coming after Kong, and I think there's another kaiju that has yet to either be revealed or something like that.
That's what I want to see in these movies. I want to see as many big monsters thrown at each other as possible, as long as it like somehow makes some sort of sense.
Yeah. I'm excited to see that too.
Yeah, great, dude.
And we have less than a month before Frozen Empire comes out.
Oh, cool.
And I'm still geeked to see that.
Awesome.
And yeah,
I'm excited to see good movies being made again. It's not like they stopped making good movies, but yeah, especially with these franchises, that we grew up with that we love.
Well, we're talking movies. We're talking video fighting games. You saw the Mortal Kombat movies. Did you see the Street Fighter movie?
Yeah. See, again, back in the day, there wasn't a million selections, and a Street Fighter came out. Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Exactly. I didn't see it in the theater, and I didn't get an even opportunity to rent it on film. If for some reason my video store didn't even have it. But I bought a PC version of Super Street Fighter 2 that came with a controller that I could plug right into my computer and play like a Genesis. That was cool. And it came with a copy of Street Fighter the movie on VHS. And the only reason I bought that game was because it came with Street Fighter on VHS. I'd never seen it. I was so geeked to see it. And I was like, okay, Jean-Claude Van Damme. I know that name. All right. Raul Julia. That's Gomez Adams. I know that name. Okay, so I know somebody. Let's watch this movie. I watched it.
It was fun, right?
It was a fun little movie. That was, and years later I found out why Jean-Claude Van Damme had so much fun on that movie.
A lot of blow.
Oh, wow. A lot of cocaine use on that movie. And if you watch it now with that knowledge, you can see it. And Raul Julia, poor Raul Julia, I don't remember the circumstances of his death, but I do know that was his last movie. And, the stories were kind of pretty on point for it, but there was a lot more comedy elements thrown into it. It's one of those so bad it's good movies kind of thing. But I remember Street Fighter and the Mortal Kombat movie, like kind of watching them head to head, and it's just like one of them is just New Line Cinema being taken really seriously, and the other one is just like, what are you doing? What are you doing to Street Fighter, man? And they haven't even attempted another Street Fighter movie. Well, a major Hollywood-backed Street Fighter movie.
Right.
Do you think they could do that today?
If they hired competent writers, I think the material's already there. The movie was already wrote itself. Yeah, it's just within direction and producing. I don't know that they could do it. I think that it's definitely possible, though.
Yeah.
But hey, like I said, I could have wrote better Star Wars movies, all these things. Just throw half the budget at me. I'll start from the ground up, and I probably make a better Street Fighter movie than what's going to come out of the people who are actually in charge right now.
Challenge,
Hollywood. There's a challenge, yeah.
Are you going to accept or decline? All 37 of our subscribers.
I could probably film it on an iPhone.
Dude, Crank 2, the entire movie of Crank 2 was filmed on an iPhone.
Yeah.
That was a great fucking movie. All on an iPhone. Oh, so what else is going on in the world today? I know. Tonight, or I should say rather right now if you're in the USA, the Elimination Chamber is happening all the way in Perth, Australia.
And right now we don't do any of these live, and it will probably be a week before this comes out, so
sure.
last week.
Yeah, last week. Today is, in fact, Saturday, the 20... Oh, crap, what day is it?
Yeah, it's now 6 a.m.
It's now 6 a.m. We do this really early, guys. But, yeah, I was looking over the match card, And for the Elimination Chamber for the men, we got Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul.
Interesting.
So Drew McIntyre has been making quite a ripple lately in the WWE. He's kind of, I want to say he's starting to do a heel turn, but it's more like an anti-hero kind of turn for him. He's really super geeked about making Punk miss all this time. I mean, I guess Punk's going to be out for 6 months. A lot of people getting injured. Shotzi, she's going to be out for 9 months. Yeah, so this Elimination Chamber is like pretty important because we're going to find out who's going to go up against Seth freaking Rollins.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, the names I gave you, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul. Now, you don't know anything about what's going on in the storylines. I know that.
Right.
But based on the names that I've given you.
Logan Paul all the way. Oh, okay.
What? You're going with the Maverick, eh?
Might as well. Like, that is probably what's going to happen. Yeah, go again because.
Okay, so we have Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and Logan Paul.
Oh, I want Randy Orton.
You want Randy Orton to win?
Yeah, and that's hard with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. Drew he's a powerhouse, man.
I like Drew as well. Like, but Bobby Lashley, dude.
It's gonna be tough. It's a good lineup for the Elimination Chamber.
I really
this year.
hope this is a day that just watch Logan Paul get thrown around.
Oh, please let it happen. I mean,
it's the muscles there to do it.
He's
even
right.
Kevin Owens.
As far as Logan Paul is concerned, as a heel, he's doing great.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody hates him. Nobody wants to see him succeed. He's the United States champion because he's got the weapon. Everybody knows about it. It's not a secret. He's got it. Not to mention he's getting brass knuckles thrown in the ring left and right by his pals. Personally, I don't know Logan Paul, so I can't speak anything about the guy personally, but I don't like him in the WWE. Nobody does, but who cares? That's the base of his character. He doesn't belong. He didn't climb the ladder, so to speak.
Yeah. Or
maybe he did. Maybe there's a whole behind-the-scenes thing we don't know about Logan Paul.
Well, there probably is. I'm sure he's trained. I'm sure but like this is what wrestling does. It reminds me of a Goldberg, you know.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So,
the push.
Yeah. I mean, he's at least getting that shot. He's definitely not, doing what Goldberg did, but
right. So that's the men. I'm gonna have to go with. This is a hard one, because you're right. There's a lot of really good competitors in this one. I'm not gonna count out LA Knight completely, but I'd say LA Knight is probably the weakest link in the chain, just because I know Logan Paul. He has his ways of winning, and he is a decent in-ring competitor, but he's a dirty trickster. He's like Ric Flair in that regard. Kevin Owens is gonna fight until he can't. I always have faith in Kevin Owens, but I don't know, man. Something tells me that Drew's gonna get it. Something tells me that Drew's gonna get it this time, and I hope. I guess Randy Orton wouldn't be a bad selection. But I'm going to give it to Drew. All
right. Which would be fair.
Yeah. So for the women's, we got we have an advertisement. For women's, we got Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Raquel Rodriguez. That one's a little easier because Tiffany Stratton, she's like the Barbie of WWE right now, and I don't know how she even got on here, but. Yeah, she's not going to be in the run for my winner. I have to give it to either Becky Lynch or Bianca Belair because they're just it's the EST and the man. I mean, it's hard to compete against that. Naomi, she's come back. This is like her second, I think like her second PLE since her first one was she returned to Royal Rumble, so this would be her second one back. They're giving her a nice little push. I hope she does well. Raquel Rodriguez. She's also a pretty powerful woman. Liv Morgan.
You don't think so?
I don't know, man. Liv is just lately. No, not going to give it to Liv. I'm sorry.
I can see that. That should be a good match.
Yeah.
It should all be good. So
Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax.
Interesting.
in Perth, Australia, where Rhea Ripley happens to be from. Do you think they're going to strip her title?
No.
No. That one's pretty much it, I think.
Sorry, bro.
Wasn't there another match? Well, regardless, we just wanted to talk about the Elimination Chamber and the big ones. But yeah, that's happening right now as we speak. So wherever you are in the world, it probably happened a week ago.
Yeah.
But
hope you enjoyed it.
yeah, hopefully you guys had fun watching it. We will, because I know we're going to watch it later.
We're hoping to, yeah.
We're hoping to watch it later. So, yeah, that's what's going on in the world of the WWE. We always like to touch base on that. JB?
So, yeah, hard segue.
Hard segue.
Hard. There you go. Thank you. Jeremy's the sound effects guy.
Yeah.
Hard segue here. So I wanted to bring up a topic that's a little morbid here. So I asked you to think about some celebrities who've passed away throughout your lifetime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because I want to get like your emotional take, like which ones have like gripped you and actually had an emotional pull on you, because I've seen, like, my big example is like when Michael Jackson passed away, like a lot of people seemed to be really upset.
Yeah.
And that didn't necessarily make sense to me, but like, how about you? Is this...
You gave me this challenge, and I don't know why I can only think of one person that really had an effect on me emotionally, because I was young and I enjoyed his work at the time, and that was John Candy.
John Candy.
I was a huge fan of John Candy. SCTV, Who's Harry Crumb, Armed and Dangerous. I mean, all the Great Outdoors. The list goes on and on. And even towards his later years, when his films weren't that great, I still watched him. I still loved him. I thought he was just an all-around funny and a good man.
Okay. What happened with him? How did he pass?
I think it was just heart failure. You know, he just got too big. I mean, he was a guy that he would make an entire meal for the cast of his movies, like a huge meal. I mean, he loved to cook. He loved to feed people. I mean, he was just a very warm-hearted, loving person. And that's what I really admired about him. And, you know, Great Outdoors, him and Dan Aykroyd paired up, and that's probably one of my favorite movies of the 80s, because it's just the perfect pairing of comedy. And it's, yeah, I was pretty sad when he passed away.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're about the same age, and through our lives, like, a lot of amazing celebrities have basically either like passed tragically or just simply early. Like Chris Farley pops right into my head as somebody who died young and like kind of at the height of his popularity.
Yeah.
And I know but I know that sucked. I remember at the time, like, I enjoyed his comedy at the time, and then he passed, and that sucks. But I don't remember it like breaking my heart at all. The word.
No.
Yeah.
So I mean, ones that kind of affected me later on in life.
Yeah, because that affects me more now than it did then.
Yeah. I once again, I've already expressed my love for this comedian before, but Sam Kinison is another guy who died at the peak of his popularity, and you know, he was trying to get a little more clean, a little more responsible for himself. He was hit by a drunk driver, tragically passed away in his brother's arms, claiming, you know, talking to angels and stuff. It's a creepy story, actually. But that affected me more as an adult, because, or not an adult, but like just a teenager, because that's when I really got into his comedy and started to really like his work. Even though it's, like I said, it's extremely controversial and nothing that would fly today.
Yeah.
But
one that I can remember that I mean, it had an emotional effect closest to Hollywood is, and generally, like, you don't mention this name too much, but it was with all the crap that went down with Chris Benoit.
Oh, wow.
Chris Benoit, WWE wrestler. Well, he wrestled a lot in WCW all around. But yeah, man, that was like just all of a sudden he would, you know, they gave the announcement that like he had passed. Yeah, and it was a few weeks before the story changed to it was most likely that, you know, a self-inflicted, and he had taken out his family with him. And like, so it's the circumstances, especially within that. Yes. That's like, it still creeps me out to this day, and it's controversial. No one really knows what happened. I mean, it's kind of figured out, but you know, it's controversial, and
you can only do a flying headbutt so many times,
right,
before it starts to affect you.
Right, and who knows? Who knows? But and so that one was pretty weird. And yeah, and like in the WWE, which we talk about often,
Yeah.
they don't even mention him anymore.
Yeah, they've kind of written him off, haven't they? It's yeah. I think if I remember correctly, the day after they found out that he had died, they had this huge ceremony the next day on Raw, I believe.
Yeah, it was like an announcement. I feel like I remember Vince McMahon.
Yeah, it was like a whole huge thing. Like when
came down
any
the
other
ring
wrestler dies,
Yeah.
the 10 bells and everything. And then he did it to himself. He killed his wife. He killed his son. And then it's just like, oh, shit.
We don't really want to honor
shit.
that guy. Yeah. And I don't know. And I don't know what it seems tragic because like you mentioned, the headbutt, the who I don't know what happened. But I still don't. In those cases I've mentioned, like they like separate the art that he did from like the way he went out and what he did in his last moments, because his wrestling career, what he did in the ring, has nothing to do with his decisions at the end of his life. Like
no. Well, wasn't he called the Wolverine? Like
the Rabbitt.
Yeah, the Rabbitt Wolverine. So he seemed like a pretty aggressive dude.
Yeah,
in general,
he was a technical wrestler. A lot of German suplexes and I mean, they say he had like what is like the CTE thing in his head. He had a bad brain deterioration and it wasn't good. And you could imagine, yeah. I still don't see how that drives you. But again, it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a morbid one there.
Chris Benoit. Yeah.
I kind of brought this up because recently, within the last year, a YouTuber that I've watched passed away, and that at like 35, 36 years old was more emotional for me than anything that's happened.
That just shows what a big community we have.
It's true. Like that's why I like YouTube, because I mean, even though like you don't know these people, like you get to feel like you know them a little bit more than anybody in Hollywood. Hollywood's not genuine. YouTube like has the rare chance of being somewhat genuine
if you choose to be.
Yeah. So I've been for like the last several years like pretty into this gaming channel called Neebs Gaming. So there's like 4 or 5 guys. Well, now there's 4. There was 5. And about a year ago, Thick44, one of the guys, passed away from brain cancer, a rare form of brain cancer, as far as I knew. That was like that we didn't necessarily know, but was hard to treat, and it was pretty sad. The whole thing was sad. I remember waking up one day and looking at my phone, and there was a notification from Twitter, what is now X, and there was some other gamer who I had seen because he was like affiliated with them, who like had like an RIP Tony, and I remember like what is this? Who's Tony? I didn't know who Tony was. And then I remember I woke up that morning, came down and used the bathroom, and I think about it, it's like, that's Thick. Like so Thick44. Yeah, he passed away from this. I mean, it's like tragic. This brain cancer, decently young guy around our age, has kids. Like, so that was that. I walked around work pretty damn mopey for about 2 days after that.
Yeah.
But then just the other day, so about 2 weeks ago from the time that these guys see it, the Neebs guys had played this game that they had played before, where the game programmers went in and made like a tribute to Thick. So they stuck like a picture of a character of his in there. They put his T-shirt logos, and it's just I wanted to point out, because like you said, the amazing community and like the effect that these people have on other people, and like it's tragic that he had to pass. It would have been much better to have him still here, but at the same time, like the way he went out, he's got like all these thousands of people who like genuinely cared about him and like honor and respect his memory and stuff, and like that's just so cool. So I wanted to point that out. And like Neebs Gaming, you guys should check them out. It's a fun gaming channel, and they're cool guys.
And now his memory will live on forever.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And there's other games that have done it. That game was Generation Zero. It's like on a post-apocalyptic robot apocalypse game, fighting game, shooting game. So you can get that on Xbox Game Pass right now, and for free. basically, for the price of the Game Pass. But
That's cool.
yeah, so I wanted to point that out. Yeah, Neebs Gaming, check them out, guys.
Rest in peace, all of our dead celebrities.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, we're gonna be doing some gaming content and some movie reviews, and sounds like what is that gonna be, like commentary?
I think we're gonna do a commentary.
sit down and
Why
do
the hell
commentary.
not? Yeah, you're gonna if you'd like, we're gonna do some commentaries where you can listen to us jabber along with the movie.
Yeah,
And
like we're important or something.
yeah, like we're the directors or we were in it. And I promise, if you do, check out one of our commentaries, we will have not just our jibber jabber. We'll have some notes on the film. We'll do some research on the things that we watch. And
yeah, a little bit.
yeah. And yeah, those will be coming soon. More
So-
gaming content, a lot more gaming content
Yeah, we're
coming
hoping.
soon. Oh, I have plans and upgrades and a lot of cool things coming in mid-2024. So make sure you stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate all the support that we've gotten so far.
Thank you so much.
And we're having fun doing it. We're hoping you're having fun with us. Thanks for joining us here at the We Are Neon Rabbit channel at the Rabbit Hole, and we will catch you all next time.
Peace out.
Peace.